Well, hello everyone. Welcome. I'm so happy you're joining me today on Tam's Psych Advice. And please be sure to put comments in the chat if you'd like, or make comments about the topic. And just join in. Give me your feedback. Give me your opinion. I don't think that I'm the expert or that I know everything. You probably know some things better than I do, and I can definitely respect your opinion. So today we're going to be talking about what are some things that you hate doing and what are some things that you're afraid of or afraid of doing. So, yeah, you can definitely put that in the live chat or the comments. And I don't know about you, but I feel so tired right now while I'm sitting here. If anybody else feels tired, I think I'm just gonna talk and close my eyes for a minute. I'm just exhausted, man. But yeah, so what are some things that you hate doing? So the first thing I thought about was things that like things around the house that I hate doing. I would say my number one thing that I hate doing is emptying the dishwasher. I hate doing that. I would almost rather do anything but that. And I don't know what it is about doing that I've always hated. But I don't like taking out all of those dishes and forks and knives and all of that stuff and putting them back where they belong. And I did that today, and I will tell you something that I did that was really bad. You might think I need a spanking, but I don't care. I just took all the spoons, forks, and knives, and I just put them all in the drawer anywhere. I just put them in there and closed the drawer. You're supposed to put the forks in one place, the spoons in one place, the knives in the other, the big spoons, the little spoons, separate those. And I don't know. I'm an ENFJ. Is that a censor thing? Or is that a nobody likes to do it thing? But I just didn't have the patience. It's almost like my mind is working faster than my body or my hands. And I just don't feel, separating all that stuff. I would rather be doing something else. I think that's the main thing about things that you have to get done around the house. It could get so out of control so quick if you're not careful. Have you seen some of those videos where people clean up their entire house? And I don't know if they let it get completely out of control so they can make a video about it, but that would drive me nuts. I've tried that strategy before to see if, you know what, instead of doing stuff every single day to keep it under control, what if you just let some things get out of control and then you have to do it all at once? And I don't think that works very well for me. I'd rather do a little bit every day if I can, instead of letting things pile up to that degree. But the problem is, I would rather be doing something else. I see why people hire somebody to do things, but then that's another issue because I'm not, I think that's great, if you want to pay somebody to do that kind of stuff. And I'm kind of fidgeting with a few things, so you might. Yeah, so I see why people hire somebody, but I don't like people in my space like that. I don't know what to do with myself. Like when you're doing that, what am I doing? I don't know. I know that sounds probably trivial and maybe a little weird, but I could I just I don't know. It's something about somebody being in my space for hours doing that kind of stuff. I'll just do it myself. But what do you guys do? What do you hate doing? If you had a number one chore, if that's, do we call it chores as adults? I know. So what would be your number one chore that you just abhor? Does that rhyme? I think my second one for right now, just because of today. Today, I made my bed, you know, and the thing about that is to put new sheets on, you have to go from one side of the room to the other side of the room, and then you're pulling and you're trying to lift the mattress. I hate that. That gets on my nerves. I don't have the patience. Again, it's like my mind is working much faster than I want to work because I just want to get it over with and be done with it. So, yeah, I hate doing that. How about you? Yeah, so, but I'm the kind of person that I'll have all these things that I need to do, and instead of putting them off, I'll go ahead and do it. And I'm the kind of person that once I start, I finish. That's a J thing, I think. So if I can just get started, I'm gonna do all kind of stuff that I don't want to do. But today, you know what I did when I was making up my bed? I did this. I'm gonna show you. So I have the sound machine and I just turned it on. I don't know if you can hear it, but that one is white noise. Let's see. Rain. Ambiance. Peace. So, yeah, I'll just sit this here for a second because I don't know if you can hear it or not. I don't know if it will get on your nerves to hear, but yeah, that really helped me today to just put this on, just turn it on while I'm doing something that I don't like, that I hate, that I'd rather be doing something else, just to bring a little calmness to me. And it really, I think it helped. And it's funny because I have this and I don't use it much. Most days, most months, I forget that it even exists. But I need to use it a lot more because it does feel so good, you know? Just to have kind of something calming. And I think we all need a little bit of that these days. So I'm just gonna put it beside me. You may not be able to hear it, but it will help me right now because I'm super tired. And there are definitely some things that I'm stressed about and worried about. I have a few things that are just kind of up in the air right now, and that does not feel too good for an ENFJ, and probably for anyone for that matter. But anyway, what are some other chores or things that you just hate doing? I know some people, I've had a couple of people to tell me they would rather do anything than laundry. And they may not mind doing the laundry, but they don't want to put it away. And so they just have these baskets that they're living out of because they just don't want to put it away. I remember when I was a kid, I would have to go sometimes and put everybody's laundry or their clothes in the drawers. And I remember one time I was like, you know what? Everybody's drawers look a mess. Like everything is strewn all over the place. So I decided when I put the clothes away in everyone's drawers, I just put them in there. I didn't even bother to fold them because I was like, it's just going to get back messed up anyway. And no one said anything. No one even noticed that their clothes weren't folded in the drawers. So what's your strategies for doing things that you don't want to do? Do you have a routine? Do you have a pattern? Do you have a certain day of the week? I remember talking to a lady who said that Fridays, every Friday, she would do a lot of her family's, household chores and things that needed to be done. And I knew somebody that would clean up their house in the middle of the week because they wanted the weekends to be free and to be theirs. And that made them super happy. So I'm sure there are some other things that you hate doing that are outside of that. Like some people love grocery shopping. Some people hate it. Do you like it? I used to love to grocery shop. I used to think it was so fun. I don't know why. Because now I hate it. And I know I was talking to some people a couple of months ago that said they would rather do anything but cook. They will clean up, they will wash the dishes, clean the counters, sweep, do anything, but don't ask them to cook because they hate cooking. So, I don't know. I think that's interesting. Which one would you rather do? Would you rather cook or would you rather clean up? And do you clean up as you're cooking or do you wait until you're done cooking and then clean everything up? Because I've heard people do both, What's something that you hate doing that's a hate doing and kind of a phobia? Like maybe something that you're kind of afraid of doing. I know we've just had some athletes who have been vocal about that kind of stuff. One of them was Naomi Osaka, and I think she's amazing. She's a tennis player, and what was so incredible and so beautiful was that at the Olympics, it was hosted in Tokyo, Japan, and she is half Japanese, half black, or we could say half Japanese, half American. And so she got to light the torch in Tokyo. And they said that she's a national hero there. And I thought that is so cool. I loved that America shares her and Japan shares her. And we're both getting to do this together. Like, I love that. It's so beautiful because we're all human and, we have different cultures, we have different ways of doing things, but we're a part of this big, beautiful world. And to be able to unite through someone who was born in Japan and come together in that way, I thought was extra, extra cool. But recently, she dropped out of one of her tennis matches because she couldn't handle the interview part. And it was National Mental Health Month, I think. And she said, I can't do the interview, so I just won't do the match. Huge match. I can't remember which match it was. I don't know if it was the French Open. And so that just sparked a whole debate, On one hand, I feel very, very split on that, on my opinion on that. Very, very, very split. So I think she's about 21, 22. I'm not sure at this time. But I understand feeling afraid. I totally can relate to that. I played the piano most of my life. I played classical piano. I'm going to turn this off. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but how do I turn it off? Okay. Yeah, so I played classical piano most of my life. I had private lessons, went to an performing arts school, And I could not get past the performance part. I was good enough to be there. I could play. I liked playing, but I hated performing. I hated it. But I had to do it. I had to do it anyway. Horrible. And I think doing things like that, for some people, it helps them to overcome the fear. But for some people, it doesn't. I think fear is one of the hardest things to cure in the world. I do. And so Naomi has some fear of interviews, and then just the people's opinions and the backlash and all of that. But the problem is she made $55 million the year before. And so you got a lot of people depending on you for their job. And so that's where it gets really complicated. It's part of the contract. And even though I have not been on a stage that big or that grand, so I can only imagine how she feels, there have been so many things that I could not get out of that I wanted to get out of. Like all those performances that were just so difficult. I totally understand her just dropping out instead of doing it because the fear is that great. I get it 1000%. But at the same time, and it might, you know what, for mental health's sake, and I hate to say this, it might be a worthy trade-off. I played tennis. I was great at it. I did it professionally for a year. Now I'm done. I'll teach lessons or do something else or live off of my 55 million for the rest of my life. It might be worth the trade-off because trying to overcome something like that is so hard and so upsetting and so nerve-wracking. But I think it's part of her job. And I think she would have to, maybe they could make some adjustments, like especially with technology now. We've gone through the pandemic. Everything that we used to do in person, we've learned that you don't have to anymore. So maybe they could give her the questions ahead of time and let her answer them on her own and send them in that way. And they splice it. Hypnotherapy, I think, is the number one and only thing. One of the only things you can do for fears like that. I wish I had done it when I was playing piano in school. I wish I had known about hypnotherapy because I've done it before and it helped. My favorite thing that I was hypnotized to was calm. So I could call that word up and feel calm in difficult situations, and it really helped me because I think I have anxious, nervous energy. And, but there are just some fears that you just never get over. Like I'm afraid of bugs. Some people are lucky enough to have a fear that they don't have to face much. Like if you have a fear of heights or you have a fear of snakes. I heard a guy the other day say that he was afraid of snakes and his friends were like, dude, most of them aren't going to bite you. And he was like, but some of them will. And if they're venomous snakes, and he finally had to say, this is my fear, not yours. So my thing is I try to be patient with people's fears because I have fears. I don't understand. I think it's hypocrisy. If you have a fear, you should understand someone else's fear or be patient with the fact that they are afraid of something. And a lot of times we aren't. We understand our own fear, but then when it comes to somebody else's fear, we want to mock them or blow them up or tell them to get over it. You can't. Your brain has picked a place to put its anxiety, basically. It picked a place. So, but yeah, and now Simone Biles dropped out of some of the competitions in the Olympics that she qualified for mental health reasons. So now we're going to see this happening a lot more. I think we need to acknowledge it. I think it's something that we just had to tough our way through. And now we're hitting a group that if they feel it, they say it, and they acknowledge it. But that's kind of not how our country is built. Like, we don't, you do it. You push through. On one hand, I have great empathy, and I totally get it. Because if I'm afraid of doing something, I don't want to do it. It's not going to make me feel better. It's going to make me feel 1,000 times worse. And getting over it, I can't. So I understand, but this is probably not the moment to pick I need a break when you're in the middle of something that occurs every 4 years. It's a lot of pressure, I know, to say the country is depending on you. But, there are things we do have to push through even when we don't want to. It's very confusing to me because I totally understand. I think I have not given myself that type of break. And I haven't even been on the type of... Sometimes I do, though. Sometimes I do. Like, I don't want to do a speech. I don't want to. I don't. So, it's validating in the sense that you may not understand, but for me, it's torture and I don't want to do it. And so they seem to kind of, I'm sure there's some shame and some guilt, but at the same time, they're willing to put their own needs first. That's not something that has been done before, really. You just get up there and suffer and do it and deal with the aftermath. So I have mixed feelings. I think if you're dedicated to doing something, you got to do it. I don't think that we can start just giving passes on that kind of stuff. I do think that both of those girls have worked harder on something than most people will work in their life. So I don't know what that's... most of us have never been pushed to that degree at that young of an age as children. And so I'm sure we'll never understand how they feel. But what are you afraid of? What's something that you avoid, that you're afraid of, that you just don't want to do, you can't do? It could be a fear. It could be something that you just hate. Because we're all human. And we all have things that we don't like to do or that make us nervous or anxious. I would definitely recommend hypnotherapy. I had a great hypnotherapist, and then he decided he didn't want to do it anymore. And so I remember going. Actually, I went to someone. I didn't go that much, but only went, I would say 3 or 4 times at least, maybe. But I remember finding another one, and it was horrible. So you would really need to find somebody that you connected with, that you felt comfortable with, because this person, her whole voice changed when she started hypnotizing me, and I was like, what in the world? You will go inside it was just a whole different, like, I'm a different person because Just, like, it was weird. It was weird. So you would definitely have to find one that you felt comfortable with, just like with counseling or therapy. You really do need to feel somebody that you connect with, that you feel comfortable with, that you feel like you can grow with. I mean, yeah, that you can make changes and heal and feel like you're growing. So anyways, I hope you guys will, I hope whatever chores that you have to do, what's a better word? Is it housework? Whatever housework or things that you have to do, here's your little, I'm giving you a little tug and a little motivation to know that we're all in it together, and that some people love doing that kind of stuff, but I think most people don't. So good luck getting all of the things that you need to get done this week, and definitely keep healing, keep growing, keep working at things that maybe you're not so good at, that you want to be better at. Let me know if there's anything, any topic that you would be interested in me discussing in this format, or where you can actually do a live chat. This is my therapy, so if nobody says anything, that's fine. I just needed to get this out of my system. You just have something on your mind and you just want to talk it out. And instead of writing about it, I just talked about it. So anyway, you guys have an amazing rest of your day or evening, depending on when you're watching it. And I just thank you guys. You are so wonderful and amazing and awesome. And I love reading your comments. You guys have been so good to me, and I really appreciate it. I feel like you're my little friends. And I will see you guys on the next video. Take good care. Bye-bye.